we go forward with a couple of pretty unique circumstances in Bloomington that you're probably aware of and not. When we're talking about aquatics, water features, things like that as it goes in. And I'm sure you're very much aware that, there is the project near the Mall of America that is a water city as opposed to a water park. And, how does, your thoughts on how that plays into what we would talk about, the potential of doing something here with the recreational pool type field, things like that. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think every community wants to look at what they offer broadly and then focus on where the needs are and where you can be unique and special, and try not to duplicate and overlap things. But, I think within a community-based space, you really want to be thinking about all the demographics you want to serve. A large water park is, focused on a certain demographic. This is a space where you want to be looking at seniors, you want to be looking at learn to swim, you want to be looking at therapy, you want to be looking at pure leisure and fun. How do you get all those teenagers to come back to the aquatic space? And that's where you bring in a lot of those fun rides. And also, how can you actually challenge them to be learning? And kids lose interest in activities if they can't get better at them. They need to be challenged. So those are things that we want to kind of integrate into them. But I think it really starts with a broad overview of what is your entire aquatics portfolio and how can this then best fit into that.
I think also the integration with the park programming and the broader programming for the building itself. As a community center, it's going to reach many different groups, and it goes back to the diagrams showing the social heart, which is really what this process is meant to uncover, is what is really truly Bloomington from a community on a broad scale, and then programming it appropriately for this site so that you have the correct balance of both park, aquatics, and community center facilities as a whole.
When you talk about doing the overview of the master planning for Valley View Park in general, and there's a real variety of amenities there, and so I have to assume that you'll take into account utilization and then replacement and utilization at that point in time. How it fits in. Is it right sized now? Should it be bigger? Should it be smaller? Those types of amenities there, right? I mean, all those are the types of things that come into play.
Mr. Mayor and council members, maybe now's a good time with that question. Ann and Matthew, between the two of you, talk a little bit about the master planning process for the Valley View. So you're looking at the entirety of the site and not just the community center itself.
Right. I may have glossed over it, but our park program does look at the entirety of what's going on currently on the site. I'm sure from the community engagement process, we're going to find what the perceived needs are and what the needs are, and compare that from the whole part of the park. So we know we have horseshoes, we know we have bocce, tennis, picnicking, kind of the ad hoc things that are happening on site. All those will be accounted for and looked at and balanced. And at the same time, there's a larger park plan, master plan that's going on that we'll be comparing to and trying to understand what the whole community is providing or planning on providing as the process. So there'll be a day one piece and then a planned piece that would be associated with the overall project.
Well, I'm sure, and John, you have data on what's there, what's being utilized, usage, things like that, as well as what you're saying, there'll be a public input portion to add to that or give you additional information.